Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Business First Creatives podcast. Today, I am interviewing my third returning guest. This is Samantha Mabe. She is an awesome Squarespace website designer. But today, we're going to talk about SEO, y'all. Good morning, Samantha, and welcome back to the podcast.
Thanks, Colie. I'm excited to be back.
I'm excited to be here. You know you're still in my top 5 downloaded episodes, right?
Really?
Yes.
Websites are important.
Websites are important. I feel like websites are like the shit nobody wants to talk about, but everybody knows how important they are for their business, except for the photographers who are still stuck on their Instagram accounts. I will admit this. I did a talk recently and I started my talk with, I know you think you don't need a website because your Instagram is bringing you clients, but that's bullshit. Like, that's the first thing that I said. You know, I don't mince my words.
That is the way to start, because I've even had people who aren't photographers who just market on Instagram, and I'm like, no, you've got to send people somewhere they can actually learn about what you do.
But no, Samantha, I get a lot of word of mouth. Yes, but you still have to send them somewhere to contact you, somewhere to get information on your services. All right, Samantha, when I had you on the podcast last time, guys, we talked all about websites, why you need a website, because Samantha is just as passionate as me when it comes to everybody needing one. I am going to link that episode in the show notes. So I want you to listen to the rest of this episode with the premise of, you know, you need a website. You're either in the process of creating one or you have one. And so once you're live with your website, like, what are the things that you have to do in order to get found? And that's what I'm going to be discussing with Samantha today. So Samantha, like, because I know that this has been like a change for you. Why are you thinking more about SEO as a website designer than you did previously?
I actually ended up helping one of my clients with her SEO because she had no SEO strategy. She started her business when I created her website, and she does like user experience classes, and it is hard to show up for that because there's a lot of like those big like online course platforms that teach the same thing. So we had to do a lot of SEO in her website copy, in her descriptions, in her product descriptions. Like, we had to really dive into what we wanted to talk about and how we could best put that on her website so that she could start to rank for it and then figure out how to track it. And it's made a huge difference in her business. Like, she gets probably 40+% of her traffic from Google, and a lot of those convert into actual paying clients, either for her low ticket offers or her big kind of one-to-many course that she's doing. So it's leading to a lot of income for people, and it's something most businesses are missing out on, because we think if we just like put our website out there, it's going to start showing up and people are going to find us, and that is not going to happen.
I mean, I don't even know if that's considered hopeful marketing. You know, you and I have had that conversation. I was on the VIP Variety Day with Jordan Gill, and I had a little chat with her about what we've deemed to be that hopeful marketing. Like, you just put your shit out there and hope people are going to contact you and buy it. Guys, your website is the first step, but it is still not going to bring the traffic if you don't nurture it. It's kind of like going on a date. I mean, you can't just show up at a date and stare at each other. You have to have a conversation. You probably have to buy a few drinks. I mean, that is what SEO will do for your website. So it's so interesting that, you know, you weren't really thinking about it until this one person came to you, like brand spanking new, having no, you know, presence on the internet. So for the people out there that don't know, how long did it take her to start actually showing up and to actually get some return on investment for SEO? Because it is certainly a long game. And every time I have the opportunity to ask somebody to kind of hammer in, hey, you're not going to do this, and then in 2 weeks be like, yo, these inquiries are just coming from everywhere now. Yeah, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So how long, Samantha?
I think it was 9 months probably before we started seeing really good traffic for the keywords she wanted to rank for that were actually going to convert into people on her email list and then into students. Yeah, 9 months. And it's still growing. So it's been like 2 years since we've done it. And it's made a big difference, but it takes a lot of time, especially if you're trying to rank for stuff that are those like kind of broad keywords, you are not going to show up unless you do a lot of work and you give it a lot of time.
Okay. I wish I had like a counter so I could count how many times you said keywords. So let's get into keyword search. Of course, when everybody's doing their SEO, you can't start to think about how to rank for your SEO until you know what it is that you want to rank for. And I feel like in that respect, us photographers have a little bit more of an advantage because we're usually trying to rank for local keyword search. So,
Yep.
like Boulder newborn photographer. I mean, any variation of that is what people are going to be searching. But for everyone else, keyword search is important. Is that something that you do?
I help my clients with it a little bit. So I know enough about their business to kind of say, are you local? Do you want local clients? So we need to put in areas that are around you. What types of clients are you trying to bring in? And then like, what is your kind of, what does your business do? And then help them look for what are people actually going to search for, not what does your industry jargon say that you do.
That's a good point. So you don't actually do the keyword research. I mean, you help them, but like who out there will do keyword research for you? Like, does that kind of person exist? Like, hey, if I Google, do my keyword search for me, what kinds of people should pop up?
There are lots of SEO specialists. So you can find people that usually they work online, but they might focus on a specific type of business. And basically what they do is they evaluate your current website and then they'll give you suggestions for what you should do as far as updating the copy. And a lot of them will also help you kind of plan out content for a blog or a podcast that you're going to be publishing regularly. The other thing you can do is there are a couple of like Chrome plugins that you can use, Keywords Anywhere, and there's a few other ones that will show you when you Google something, it'll show you like how popular a keyword is and what's related. So those are really helpful if you don't have the money to invest in hiring somebody to do your whole strategy for you.
Let's talk about Google because I mean, I hope everyone has listened to our first conversation linked in the show notes, guys. But if you haven't, for the people who have never had a website before, of course, they all need to Google My Business, right? What else does Google offer that can help us improve our SEO?
Okay, so what you need to do is you need to go to Google Search Console and set up your website. I think you have to have an analytics account first because they connect, but put it on Google Search Console. You're going to submit your sitemap, which most website platforms generate automatically. So you don't even have to do anything. And then it will track for you. It will actually show you if you have any errors on your website that's making Google rank you lower. And then you can see over time which keywords people are like searching for that your website shows up for and how many people are clicking on it. So one of my most popular ones right now is brand value words. And I'm like, that it was a blog post I wrote years ago that has gotten some traction. And that's the only reason I know that it's popular is because Google Search Console tells me that like people are actually coming to my website for that.
So, this brings up a really interesting topic, Samantha, because brand value words is not really related to the service that you offer.
Nope.
So, what could you do to that post because it's already ranking? I mean, and guys, don't go out and change everything because there's a reason that it's a ranking. But is there anything that you can do if you figure out that like a post is getting a lot of traffic, or like in the case of a photographer, like I had one that was ranking really high for Longmont maternity photographer, but girl, those photos were so old. I was like, I don't want anyone finding this blog post. So what should people do if they have a blog post that's ranking really high, but it doesn't have the kind of content that's going to lead to people joining their audience or eventually buying their service or product?
Yeah. So in my case, what I will do is go into my post and I will add like a couple paragraphs about how this applies to websites. I'll add a link to my opt-in to get people to sign up, and I'll put it not for the very introduction, but after the introduction before it gets to the list of keywords so that people have to look at it before they get to like the content that they really want.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a post you don't want people seeing anymore, like the pictures are really old, then you can turn it off. But I really recommend
Oh, no.
just redirect it to other people. Put some related posts down at the bottom so that they can see your more recent work
Mm-hmm.
and be directed towards those things so that they have more of a chance of working with you. So they land for one thing, they see the pictures, and they're like, okay, I'm interested in learning more. Be really strategic about what posts you then link them to so that
Yes.
they can see your good work. Unless it's like way out there and you don't want anybody to know about it, don't turn it off because it's still
Mm-mm.
bringing people to your website. You've just got to take the time to make it work for your business now.
Yeah, what I did was pulled all those images off, found 5 in that session that I still found acceptable, re-edited them in my current style, and then plopped them back up. The other thing is, sorry, Kate, if you're ever listening to this podcast interview, it was actually my best friend Kate's session. I mean, so it wasn't bad photos. It was just back then I edited very differently.
Yeah.
Plus, I took her photos at a lake. Anyone who knows me now knows I don't do outside. And so people finding outside photos is just not really good for me. So I put back up my 5 favorites, but then I went to more recent sessions that I had done for her. And I added images of those after saying something like, hey, I mean, you want a maternity session, but have you thought about all the other sessions that I could
Yep.
give you? Here's some newborns. Here's 6 months. I mean, I did that kind of stuff. So, photographers, if you're listening, don't pull that blog post down. Just re-edit the images. Or if, because we all know as we do it more, our work gets better. If you originally showed like 20 images, which no one should be showing 20 images in a blog post anymore, just FYI. But if you were, just narrow it down and put a few of your favorites back up.
Yeah. And that's the thing with like photographer blog posts. You don't have to show a ton of images. And
Mm-hmm.
SEO is going to be more related to the copy. And I think that's what people want to see is like, what was the experience like for your client? Where were you? What were you doing? Why was this a special session? When I look at stuff, I'm like, okay, the pictures are good, but everybody's pictures are good. I want to know more about the photographer and like why I should hire them specifically when I know I could get good images from 5 other people.
Mm-hmm. You do absolutely need more than the photos. Okay, so Samantha, we've talked about keyword search. So, as a website designer, though, like what is your role in the SEO? Because, most website designers are not also writing the copy. But so, like, when someone comes to you, let's say, and they don't have a website, you are starting from scratch. And so they bring the copy that they've
Mm-hmm.
gotten from someone else. Maybe they have sourced some images for their website, or maybe you're doing that as well. But, like, what is your role in the SEO of a brand new website?
I do the on page copy or the on page SEO. So the stuff that's actually in what people see. So part of that is you have to lay out your page in a way that makes sense for search engines. So search engines, when they read a page, they start with your heading 1, your H1 tag, and then they go to your H2, H3. They kind of like skim down and then they go back and look at your actual paragraphs. So I am laying that out really strategically to say we've only got one H1 on the page, and then we're using H2. It's going to have keywords. H3 is going to kind of break stuff up to make it skimmable for search engines to find those words, but also for people when they're like scrolling down your super long sales page to find the section that they're actually interested in and get their questions answered. So, I mean, and good SEO practices are good just user experience, client experience practices too. So you're really doing it for both purposes. The other thing that I have to tell more clients than I would think is that we cannot keyword stuff your website. We cannot write a
Mm-mm.
list of keywords and make the text color white. We cannot just make the title of your page photographer, photography, newborn photography. Like, Google is smarter than that. They know you're trying to trick them and they do not like it.
Mm-mm. I mean, when you just said about making the text white, I do remember I remember, like, a decade ago when I started my business, that was what a lot of people were recommending, that,
Yep.
in the footer of your website, that you basically list every keyword known to man that would bring your site up for, this. And they would tell you, oh, make it white so that it doesn't look like you're doing it. Yeah, but Google still sees it.
Yes.
Even if someone with eyes doesn't see the difference in the text, Google knows.
Yes.
Google will punish you. Google will put you in a corner.
Yes. It's part of that whole, if you build it, they will come. You got to do the strategy. It's when we first started our businesses and we were blogging, there were not that many blogs out there. So it was not that hard to show up for stuff. And now there's so many options that you've really got to do it strategically, but you've got to understand that search engines are smart and they don't want to be tricked. You can't go through and just copy and paste the same content over and over again because it's a popular post. Like, they know that you're trying to just they want unique content that's valuable for people. You cannot try to trick them with keyword stuffing or using the same post over and over again or replicating the post you did as a guest somewhere on your website.
Ooh,
Like, it knows all of those things, and it does not help you.
I mean, I would never actually think to tell someone not to do that, but guys, don't do that, because if you guest posted, like if you wrote a guest blog post on someone else's website, you got the backlink to your website, hopefully. I mean, no one should be doing that without getting a backlink. But in that backlink, Google now attaches you to that content by default. But then when you try to copy and paste it onto your own website, Google's going to end up punishing both of you for having duplicate content on two different websites. For the love of God, please don't do that.
No.
I mean, Samantha, I would have never thought that I had to say that out loud. And the funny thing is, I mean, I know I have written, and done some like really amazing things for other people. I mean, it's the same thing with my podcast, though. Like, I was on your podcast and it was great, but I wouldn't go and take what I did on your podcast and just regurgitate it on my podcast. That doesn't help either one of us. I mean, you want to create as much unique and interesting content as you can. And listen, guys, if you can't think of other things to say, there are people you can hire to help you. But don't just redo the same thing over and over again, because Google only needs to see it one time for it to work for you.
Yeah.
Like, every other time that you try to like replicate it, you are actually doing a disservice to you, your website, your service, like all of it.
Yeah. The other thing I think we're going to start seeing as AI evolves is people trying to get away with ChatGPT wrote this blog post and now I'm just copying and pasting it on my website. Well, ChatGPT might fill it with keywords, but it's not going to be very valuable because it is so surface level. I tried to have it write a blog post just to see what it would spit out. And I was like, this is the most surface level, redundant copy I have ever read. And Google, I think, is going to get smart enough to realize when an AI wrote something as opposed to a real person wrote it. Just like people know that, they are going to start recognizing it, because when someone comes to your website, they don't want what a robot wrote. They want you and your personality.
And guys, I don't know if you think you're tricking anyone, and I consider myself to be a pretty smart person, but like when I'm reading copy, I'm like, that person didn't write that. Like, and of course, up until now, I wouldn't have said AI, but like now what comes to mind the first time that I read something and it does not sound like what they say and how they talk, I'm like, oh, they didn't write that. They used AI. Now, does that mean it's AI every time? Nope. You could just be a really piss poor writer, guys.
Yeah.
I admit that. But in general, I feel like as people start to use AI and Chat GPT and all of the other tools a little bit more, the average consumer is going to be hip to the game. They are going to read something and be like, that sounds weird. That sounds like a robot wrote it. I mean, like, what are they really trying to say? Now, I will say I am obsessed right now with Chat GPT prompts, Samantha. I mean, I don't know. I think it's really fascinating to like give it a prompt and see what it writes, and then see how many more prompts I can get it.
Yep.
So that I get something that isn't half bad. But then I would still never copy and paste that onto my website. I use it as, like, for an example, this week I spoke at a birth symposium. One of the things was, that you have a professional there so that you can live in the moment. Well, that was a nice little phrase. Let me write my own content about how I'm there so that neither one of you has to try to take a photo of the moment. You can just be there. You can trust that me as the professional at the end of the day will give you photos and videos that will last a lifetime. But like, Chat GPT didn't say that, but it did give me the idea to write something related to living in the moment. And I think that's how all of us should think about AI content.
Yeah. I just used it. I was updating the page descriptions on my site because I've niched my audience a bit. So I was trying to just update my keywords. And I told it, I was like, okay, I want you to write a page description for this page, use these keywords. I saw what it spit out. And then I went in and I edited it and made sure it actually made sense instead of sounding like I was a team of 25 people who do website development and these huge projects. But it was a starting point where I could say, okay, now I don't have to come up with this from scratch and like use all that brain power. I just have to make sure this actually makes sense for my business.
Mm-hmm. And guys, Chat GPT lies. Can I say that, Samantha? So I fed it a link to my sales page and I told it to write me, I think, 3 sales emails. And if you're on my newsletter list and you're listening to this, you got one of them because I told you I asked Chat GPT to write this email for you because I wanted you guys to see what it would spit out. But the most interesting thing to me was no matter how many times I told it to use one of the testimonials on my sales page, Samantha, it just flat out made up testimonials. Some name that I've never heard of. And the funny thing was, I will admit, one of the testimonials that it made up was so on point. I was like, wait, is that a testimonial on my website and I don't know it? Like, I went back through my website because it was a really good testimonial, but none of my clients had said those exact words in that exact order. And no matter how many times I told it, use the testimonial from Posey, use the testimonial from Sabrina, it was just changing the name. I was like, I don't understand. I gave it to you. I gave it to you and you're still not using it. So, guys, again, it's a tool. It is not an end result.
Yes.
You still need humans to do stuff for you at this point. You need people like Samantha to make your website. You need copywriters to write the copy. I mean, we're not in an age yet where you can tell any AI, make me a website. This is what I do. Here's some photos. Give me an end result. We're not there yet. I mean, I've seen some attempts. We're not there yet.
Well, and the other thing that AI is not going to be able to do is I have seen some of like the attempts at art and stuff. It is not going to be able to do the user experience piece that Google has really been looking at too, is they rank you not just on your keywords, but do people actually like your site? Does it load quickly? Do you have a super high bounce rate, which we talked about in the last episode? Yes. Like, Google is looking at all of that stuff, and all of that is part of how you rank. It's not just the specific words. Or like the other thing, and I can't believe some people still don't have like the secured site, the HTTPS. But if you don't have it, it doesn't matter how good your SEO strategy is, you will not show up. Google will not show you. Chrome will not let people go to your website.
It shames you.
Yes.
It puts a little thing at the top, like, this website is not secure.
Yeah.
Only click if you, I mean, it did it to my website. Like, at one point when I was doing something on Show It, my certificate had like failed or something. And when it did it, I was like, oh, wait, did I mistype my website? Like, am I trying to get scammed? Right? Like, I mean, it's very jolting.
Yes.
The way that they tell people, do not access this website.
Yeah. So you have to look at all of that. And then the keywords come into play. But if you don't have a decent website to begin with, it doesn't help your ranking, and it doesn't help people actually convert either once they get there.
I mean, because at the end of the day, I care about user experience, don't get me wrong, but I care about conversions. Like, how many people are landing on my website and then are just bouncing? I mean, that is why Samantha and I harped on the bounce rate so hard in the last episode. And I will say, Samantha, I have an entirely new perspective now because I have been running ads. And unfortunately, one of the ways that I can tell if my ad is effective, it doesn't matter that my click-through rate from Facebook is really good. If I look at the specific pages that I'm sending them to, and I can tell because I'm using, specific links so that I know that they're coming from the ads. If those people are spending no time on my website and the bounce rate from them is absolutely 100%, 95%, okay, my ad is not doing its job, no matter how good the clicks are. That means that my website is not converting them into at least hanging out for like a minute and seeing what else is on my website. So, guys, bounce rate is important for a lot of reasons. Number one, because it is something that Google looks for to see if your website is high quality. But number two, if you ever dive into the area of ads, you want to make sure that those people are not just clicking and you're paying for the clicks and then they're not actually doing anything on your website besides landing and then exiting.
Yeah. It doesn't matter how many people land on your website if they don't do anything with it.
All right, Samantha. So if we had someone who's like, okay, I'm not new. I have a website. I do have a Google My Business. I've even set up like my analytics and my Google Search Console, but I'm still not getting the traffic on my website that I need to get. And so these people are like, oh, maybe it's that SEO thing that Colie and Samantha were talking about. What is like your top tip for what someone should do as like the quickest win that they can get as they start to work on their SEO as a long-term project?
I think the first thing to do is to open up an incognito window and go Google your business name first and see if your website actually shows up and get a preview of like what it's saying. Because sometimes we forget that like the page description actually shows up there and maybe it's out of date or maybe you never updated it at all. So you want to just double check that and then Google some of the keywords you're trying to rank for and see where you're even showing up and who else is in there and see what your competition is. And then you have the ability to kind of narrow in if you need to focus on more specific keywords or, I am never going to rank for website design overall. Like that's just impossible. I'm never going to rank for photographer. So you want to then go back to your website and every time you're like trying to use the keyword photographer, add in something like your location or the type of photography that you do. And it's going to give you a good starting point for like, okay, what is actually working and what can I then work on my website to make some of those small changes? And then you just have to give it time. You just have to give it time to work.
And I will say, we've mentioned Google Search Console, and I just want to make sure that everyone knows when you sign up for your account for Google Search Console, it's not going to tell you where you rank for the keywords that you want to rank for.
Right.
It's going to tell you what people are actually searching for and seeing your website, which is the impression, and then seeing if they actually click and which page they actually click on from that keyword search.
Yes.
So I want to make sure that it is twofold. Like Google Search Console is going to tell you what people are doing now. But if you're trying to figure out the keywords that you want and then who else is ranking for those keywords, how many people are actually searching for those keywords every month, you're going to want to use a separate keyword search tool. And Google's got one for its ad account. You don't have to actually use the ads. But that is where you can go to kind of type in the words that you think you want to rank for and see what the volume of search for that is every month. Because guys, it does you no good to pick a keyword and to, get all your SEO good and true. You are on page 1 for that keyword, but ain't nobody searching for it. That does not do you any good.
Yeah.
So again, SEO is multifaceted, guys. It has so many moving parts. And I honestly think there's only so much that you can DIY. However, if DIY is your thing, if DIY is your budget, there are a lot of things that you can do to get yourself started because everything that you do is going to help you get better, except for keyword stuffing.
Yes.
Keyword stuff. Yes.
Yes. Well, the other thing, so there's a tool that I used when we were working on my client site. It's Mangools or something. They have like this keyword ranking tool. So I made a list of the keywords we wanted and it will track over time which page and which spot she's ranking in. It's a paid tool. and it's not like an insignificant investment. But if you're really trying to work on it, find something like that where you can say, these are the keywords I actually want to show up for, and you can see how you're doing. And it'll tell you, like, this is a really hard one to rank for. You should probably try something else.
Yeah, I figured Samantha was going to talk longer because if you guys are watching the video, you'll see I'm on my phone. I have one on my phone that I used to do when I was doing a lot with photography, and see, it's been so long it's not even on my phone anymore. Guys, if I remember what the app was, because I had one that you could put your top 3 in and it would be free, and then if you wanted to pay some really nominal amount, I mean it was a couple dollars for like the year, it would give you up to 10 or 15 maybe. But like I would just look and see how I ranked locally for all of the keywords that I wanted, like Louisville, Colorado newborn photographer, Boulder family photographer. Like I had all of them there so that I could see how I was doing. And that was when I knew, I'm like, hey, I'm on page 1 for most of these. This is awesome. And of course, I don't rank that high anymore because I haven't blogged in quite some time. The other thing you can do, guys, is blogging.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you that all day long. All right, Samantha, if people want to learn more about your services because they either have a Squarespace website or they are interested in getting one, where can they find you on the internet?
My website is lemonandthesea.com, and I'm on Instagram at lemonandthesea, and I'm starting to hang out a little bit more on LinkedIn at Samantha Mabe.
Awesome. I mean, we're all trying to get that LinkedIn. Someone asked me the other day and I'm like, yeah, I'm there and I'm currently just repurposing, but I should probably get a little bit more serious because, hey, it's kind of like SEO, guys. The more work you put into your LinkedIn profile, the more likely it is that people that are interested in the services that you offer are going to find you.
Yes.
All about the work.
Yep.
Samantha, thank you for coming on my podcast again. I love you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. That's it for this episode. See you next time.